Alrighty, welcome to Supernatural Signals, my haunted journal edition. If you're new here, this is my haunted journal. It's where I casually yap about what's going on in my life, especially anything supernatural I'm experiencing. I also share channel updates, everyday life with my boyfriend, and thoughts on things in the media like true crime, though we try and focus on supernatural discussions. On this channel, you'll find three types of content: this haunted journal series, short mini mysteries, which you can find over at my shorts tab, and longer investigative deep dive videos. Um, and yeah, let's get into it. Usually, when I start off the channel, I do life updates and then channel updates and just entertainment stuff that I'm into as of late. So let's get into that before we get into more discussions about supernatural world. Um, so I'm doing some housekeeping on my channel. I am trying to get my playlist organized. As you can see, I changed my haunted journal series into a podcast area. So I'm still working on that. Because I feel like this is kind of like more of the podcast discussion. And so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to work on getting all my investigative videos. Instead of putting them in so many categories, I'm just going to do one playlist video playlist where I put all my investigative videos in one spot, and then put obviously all my mini mysteries already in one playlist. So I'm going to get rid of all the other junk playlists and just keep investigative videos, the podcast playlist, and then the mini mysteries. So that's what I'm doing with the update on my channel. I did start adding playthroughs on my channel. Now, those for video games, and they're going to be more toward the spooky ones natured. I just released the first part of a Midnight Walk, or the Midnight Walk. So I added that to the channel because I play video games a lot, and obviously I'm not going to put like Silk Song and things like that. If you want to watch some game through on that, you can go to my threads to see like bosses, fights, and things like that. But with the channel, I thought it would be interesting just to break things up with playthrough content. So that's what I did. I'm going to have a playlist for that as well. I'm just going to do it when I feel like it, but that's like, it's not the main theme of my channel. I'm still working on everything else. I just like to play video games, and my boyfriend was like, "You might as well just add it because you play them anyway, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's true, but I'll keep them in the, you know, scary video vibes, right?" So that's the plan for now. But yeah, I just don't want my channel to be too convoluted. That's why I'm trying to like narrow down the playlist. So that is what I'm doing this week. Um, and yeah, other than that, everything's going good, Kermie. I went out and ran some errands. I'm getting new glasses. It's my birthday coming up, and Kermie and I this week decided that we're just going to kind of try and do some fun things throughout the week that, we wanted. And I've been wanting these glasses for, like, my glasses broke in 2023, and or 2024. I don't remember. It was like either towards the end of 2023 or 2024. And I am like blind. Like, I have -4.5, -4.7 vision. Like, my eyes are bad, right? And so I when I don't have my contacts or my glasses on, it's just the world's a blur. And my glasses have been broken since 2023 or early 2024. So, I've been surviving off contacts, and it's because I've been really wanting these glasses that you can ask my boyfriend Kermie. I've been like eyeing them for so long, and they're they're pricey, they're expensive, but like I've been eyeing them so long, and considering I didn't have glasses for so long, and then I guess in my mind, this is how I work. I'm like, if I didn't just keep if I just kept buying like, cheaper glasses or whatever, you know, within the last 2 or 3 years, like, it still adds up, right? Because they break easily. They're not scratch resistant. So I did get the scratch resistance and the thinner frames because my eye prescription is not great. So I got the thinner frames. And I just got these glasses that keep coming on my feed because I keep going back to them on my Instagram. And I finally got them, and I'm so excited. And my boyfriend was like, "Just buy them." And I'm like, "Okay." And he was very sweet. So we got them, and I'm so excited. So those are coming soon. Yeah, and I'll post them on my Instagram, but I'm very excited to have these new glasses because, like I said, I've been eyeing them for years, literally. Um, so I'm very excited to get new glasses, and that way, when I go to bed at night, I don't have to like either fall asleep in my contacts or have to squint when I take my contacts out. So that'll be fun. So moving on. Um, uh, and yes, before anyone says it, there's a reason I didn't get my glasses fixed. Like I said, 2023 and 2024 were weird years, right? So, and then when I started getting my life back in order in 2025, it just glasses weren't a priority, right? So now they are because your girl needs to see. Um, so moving on. So those are the channel updates and life updates, and so we have some fun stuff that we're planning, and yeah, Kermie's been very sweet to me. So doing that. But yeah, there's really no much updates on me, just doing the same old, same old. Went out to eat yesterday to a new place. It was really good. It was just a little Asian spot. And then um yeah, that's about it. I post some pictures of the food I got on Instagram. Um and yeah, that's about it. If you're interested in my Instagram, it is at supernatural underscore signals. Obviously it'll be down below as well. Okay, so let's get in more into what this video is about. So today we're going to be talking about a couple things. First, I want to touch briefly on a little bit of David updates, not too much. Kind of trying to steer away from that case because just waiting for the new trial date. I think in kind of towards mid late May there'll be another trial update. So we'll see there. I don't think we'll see if we get more information. It almost feels like the prosecution is just trying to show how much evidence they have against this guy to the defense and to the public, um, as much as possible. But I'll get into that in a minute. But let's get into also what else I want to talk about in this video. I'm going to talk briefly about a weird glitch simulation I feel like I had like last weekend, so about a week ago almost. It was kind of weird. So I'm going to talk about that. And then I'm also going to talk about just some thoughts I had on, I know it's super random, but Mount Everest and what I think, I don't know, some, ghost things and the thoughts about Mount Everest in general as far as the supernatural takes, because there are over 200 bodies on there, and I don't know, I think it's an interesting topic to talk about supernatural related. So I'll talk about some spirits that supposedly linger there and a certain effect that I think is also interesting. So that's on the agenda today. Random podcast, but that's what it is. So first, let's talk about David. So David is still in custody. He's still awaiting trial. He still has pled guilty. Don't know what his defense is going to be. I think what the prosecution is doing is slowly giving more and more information of what they have, right? Because I don't even think they've given in that document that they released last trial they had, or I don't know if it was a trial, but like last hearing, I guess, preliminary hearing, like trying to just showcase all that they have. And I think that's probably the tip of the iceberg. Like I saw some people saying, well, why don't they have videos and things like that? I'm like, they haven't given you everything they have yet, right? Like, it's 40 terabytes, people. Like I'm sure not everything in the terabytes are relevant or whatever, but I'm sure a lot of it is. And that's a mass amount of evidence. So we don't know what the Tesla caught on camera. We don't know what neighbors caught on cameras. We don't know what their house cameras caught on cameras. Like David thought he was invincible, and so he didn't clean it up properly. Like he just thought he was whatever. So we I my best estimate, and I could be wrong, but I think he's going to end up pleading guilty, and it's might be like a last minute thing. It might take like a year for him to come to his senses, but I think he's going to eventually plead not guilty. I think they're going to use the preliminary hearings to be like, look at all the crap we have. Is your defense attorneys really looking at this and telling you the truth, or are they just milking your money? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like I said before, I hope to goodness, excuse me, I hope that for Celeste's family's sake, for Celeste, for even freaking Dodo Head David's sake, that he just pleads guilty because one, I think Celeste's family deserves the respect to mourn and not have people dissecting their lives that they don't understand. We don't even have all the evidence, and people are already putting them on trial. That's just pissing me off. And then also for his sake, because if you want to talk about in a spiritual realm, if you want to talk about a supernatural realm, which is what he claims to care about, which we'll get into in a minute, about his Christianity that he's been yapping about since his start of his career and using religion as a pedestal, like, if he really wants to make it, at least start the process and at least let the universe know that he's ready to start that process, to like maybe undo some things that he did in his life so he doesn't end up somewhere. The first step in my mind is to admit it. And like I said, I think the prosecution is going to keep using these preliminary hearings to give more and more evidence out before they go to trial and be like, hey, is your defense telling you that we have all this crap on you, bro? Like all this crap, right? And really make it hit on his head that it's time to plead guilty. And it might take a year before it gets to trial. People have pled guilty literally like right before the case starts, right? They come to the realization like this is ridiculous. And to me, pleading guilty to at least give the family some sanity, some peace, some not public destruction so they can start healing, I think would be the best bet in my mind. And that is what I hope for. And I hope everyone else is hoping for that too, because this trial isn't about YouTube views. Like I get it. I'm talking about it on my YouTube. So I'm not, that's where I get most of my information. I love YouTube for that, right? Because it's real. People get the stuff thing. Celeste's death isn't for that, right? I'd rather it be closed and David could start maybe going in the right direction because he's been in the wrong direction. And I think most people understand that, right? If the mother keeps talking about her Christianity, how religious she is, and all this bull crap that she's been spreading for the past thing, go fucking have a talk with your son. Anyway, okay, so because I had more to say about this, and I did, and I deleted it because he's been lying since he was 15. His whole life has been a lie. And if anyone has told a lie, which you have, if you haven't, if you told me you've never told a lie, then you're lying. Having that weight of a lie your whole entire life and masking, first of all, you get good at it. And second of all, when you do lose control, you don't know how to handle it. And that's what happened with him. His whole life was a lie. Celeste was about to reveal that lie and he lost control. And that's why it was so messy. And he thought he had it all figured out because he was getting away with everything since he was lying. He started grooming her at 16. All right. She was like 10, 11. He was 16. He's 21 now. That's pretty much his whole life. He's been lying like this and getting away with it. That's why it was so messy, because that's what he's been doing. He hasn't been doing a good job of it, right? I was watching stuff on the Ian Watkins thing because it randomly showed up on my feed, probably because I was watching David's stuff. He was so messy with it. Everyone he just floated around because that's their ego. People keep trying to figure out. I'm really gonna censor myself here. But people keep talking, they keep going back to this homeschool crap, right? And every time I see the homeschool crap, I really want to take my cell phone and throw it at the TV because that's what he wanted. He has his whole career, he's had a dark secret, right? Basically, he's a pedophile, PDF, right? Whatever you want to call it. His whole life, he's been hiding that secret. So even before taking Celeste's life, right? He's been having that secret. So he's been doing the whole over exaggerating, pretend he's this hee hee ha ha, and then doing really dark things behind the closet. That's not new to him, right? That's been his whole life since he was like 16. Okay. His whole life. That's like jumping in video games, right? Like people that have been playing video games forever. So easy for y'all. So easy for him because he was doing it at 16, probably around the time you started playing video games. And the homeschooling and the preaching about letting the devil get to you because he's done sermons before, and all that is a way to cover up his trail. He started talking more about the fucking homeschool. He had the stupid clip on his shorts going, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so funny because I was homeschooled my life." Like, he's trying to lead that as a way in case something does happen in the future with this case getting exposed and ever, because this was after he murdered Celeste. He was doing that so you have that fucking topic to discuss and give an excuse for him. The reason he did that is because he's dark, and dark people found that dark side of him and took advantage of that dark side of him, and he welcomed it. That's what happened. It wasn't because he was fucking homeschooled. And this is why I have trouble with true crime, because I just get so emotional with it, especially since my spiritual awakening. I don't know what it is. It's just, I just feel so bad for Celeste. And I watch the YouTube stuff, and I like, it's just, it makes me so sad for her, right? It just, she was like alone, and it just, people are like, his homeschool and his da 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 da, and and maybe it's because of the dark music or the anime and the blah blah blah. It wasn't that. We've been doing that since the fucking 90s, since the 80s, since the 70s, trying to make excuses for bad people. It's the actions that I have to take to fix it, and the first action he needs to do is confess. That is the first fucking action, bro. Stop trying to make excuses. Stop trying to find another route. Stop trying to just, I hate to say it, submit to it, because that's like, I know it sounds weird, but she was, it was just bad. Okay. She was 10 and she started getting groomed by this guy. 10. She didn't have a chance. David had all the chances in the world. He had money for therapy. I don't know what his home life was. I don't know. Maybe there was something weird there. I don't care. There's stuff that happened to me in the last few years that should never have happened to people, right? Just like most people could say about their lives. You don't do that. You don't do that. And some people just suck, right? There's no reason for it. They just suck. And I think they think because he's young that there has to be a reason. No. Have you ever seen the movie The Bad Seed? Some people just suck and they don't worry about people. They worry about themselves, and that's it. The anxiety that you see on live stream that once in a while pops out, it's not for Celeste. He doesn't care about Celeste. That video, there's a thing where he taped a call, supposedly it's Celeste, and put it on his fucking album or whatever. It's her saying, "I'm so sorry," and like trying to like, you know, because she's, young 14, 13-year-old girl at the time, basically thing. He loved that. He loved her apologizing to him. He probably went into his room and did the nasty after that because he got control over that little girl. He loved it. That's why he put it on the album. Her saying like, "Oh, you're so perfect and I don't deserve you." And the minute, that's what he loves. He doesn't love people. He loves that. I'm going to go make another video. I've emotionally drained. This is why I don't talk about true crime. And I told myself I wasn't going to. I think I'm going to take a little break from the case. I can't get into these cases without getting emotionally involved. I really can't. I've tried. But I'm just sick of turning on the news and being like, "Oh, he was fighting his demon." And like, no, he's just a jerk. He's just a bad person. And I want him to take the fucking first step to show that he has some kind of soul left and admit it for his own sanity and for Celeste's family. Okay. You know what? I'm going to keep going. F David. I'm not going to stop my video. I'm going to go talk about more happy things. Okay. So, moving on to supernatural things. I feel more comfortable. What is that scary sound in the night? Oh, I'm more happy. Okay. So, no scary sound in the night. But I did have a weird glitchy situation that happened to me, like a simulation thing. Happened Sunday. So last Sunday. So it's Thursday now. So it happened a little while ago. I decided to go with my boyfriend to go look at um clubhouse thingy, club membership thingy. It's basically a I don't know, it's like the town's club where they have tennis courts and swimming pools and golf. I'm not into golf, but I was looking in it for certain amenities, certain things that I'm into, and it's not something me and Kermie, it's not like our style, but we were just intrigued, right, to figure it out. So a really nice guy offered us to do a tour. It was built in the 1960s, and really nice guy came there. The place seemed really chill and nice, and we were walking around and we get to this restaurant part, and the restaurant is like, it's like a two-story place where you can eat outside. They have like a little balcony, you can go eat outside and inside, and it's like right by the pool, so you can go eat and then go back to the pool. And this day it was super crowded. It was a Sunday, right? So there was families there, there was so many people there, and people were splashing in the pool. The people were sitting in the restaurant. We go to the bar, the bartender says hey to the guy, I think the guy's name is Bill, and he's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Like, like stuff was going on. If you know anything about me, if you've seen my Instagram, I like food. I love food. I'm a picky eater because I eat like a 12-year-old, but I appreciate food. Like I eat basic food. Let's put it that way. But I love food. Ironic, but I don't know. People get it. They get it, right? So one of the things me and Kermie talked about, because part of the membership is like you have to get a certain amount of food from, you have to pay for a certain amount of food, right? For the food, right? In order to keep your membership or something like that. I don't really remember all the rules, but something like that. So we were like, well, we want to make sure the food's good. So we were like, let's keep an eye out for the food, right? That's what we were talking about when we get there. Now, me and Kermie are both like awkward. So we're not like someone that's going to just be like, show us your food and blah, blah, blah. We just like observe things, right? Like most people do. So we get there, we get to the restaurant. We're there for a good like minute or so. And he's like talking. He's like, yeah, we have this food, that food, this food. And we're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But as someone that enters a restaurant, you look at the food, right? You look for the food, you eye around. So I did a quick scan. I didn't see any food, and neither did Kermie, which I'll get into in a minute. And then all of a sudden, we like leave, and then we were talking about, we're discussing if we want to sign up for it or not, blah blah blah. And then like later on that afternoon, we were again started talking about the food because again we both love food, and we're like, wait, there was like no food, like at all. There was not a dirty plate. I don't think people even were drinking anything. And like I said, it was so crowded that day that the parking lot was pretty much full. It took us a minute to find parking spots. There was like a few available, right? And I'm like, no one was eating. Okay. Like there was not and people were sitting, they were enjoying the sun. There were families there. I didn't see anyone eating anything. Like it was the weirdest thing. I don't, I, I, I don't know. I don't know what that would be called, simulation or whatever, but you would think that crowded, the waiter was the bartender or the whatever, the staff was there, they were thing. I didn't see french fries, I didn't see anyone eating a sandwich. You could say people brought them home. I didn't see anyone bringing anything from home. There was no food. This was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There was no dirty plates, nothing. And like I said, we were like scanning for it. And I was like, did you see anything? He was like, no. And again, it was one of those like afterthoughts where we're like, oh, I didn't see any food. Okay, we'll move on. I'm sure the food's fine. Nothing. Not one sandwich, not one bread. No, I didn't see any water glasses. It's a restaurant. And there were people there. It was weird. I saw condiments. That's it. And the condiments weren't like being used or open. It was like they just opened, right? When you come to a restaurant, they just opened. That's what it looked like, but there were people everywhere. Strange. I know. I don't know. I don't know what it could have just been. No one was hungry that day, but it was 2 o'clock. Like either you know, not a breadcrumb. Like it looked like it just opened. I don't know. And again, it was one of those things that you don't really comprehend until you leave because you're thinking about like, oh, do we want to sign up? You're trying to be polite. Like, those things that, us as humans worry about at that time. It was weird, y'all. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if it was glitch, simulation ish, or maybe it was just coincidence and no one was hungry. And at that point, I'm like, I don't want to be the only one at this place eating food every day. Like, hey guys, I'm going to the pool and stuff in my face, and no one else is eating. I don't know. So yeah, that was like my little weird thing that happened to me in the past week. Don't know what that was about. As far as any updates with Buddy and Kitty, same old, same old. Buddy still has issues, still doing his staring once in a while out in the void. You know, same old with that. So if anything, we get updates with that, I will let you know. But nothing has like changed. It's just kind of like the same thing. Some days he'll take a walk, and some days he doesn't want to leave the porch. So he won't even go to his backyard sometimes. So, um, and he'll just sit at the porch and stare. So like waiting for something. So we'll see what's going on with that in the future, and I'll keep you posted. It's been cold here and stuff, so um yeah, but he's still like staring. So and I remember last video or a few videos ago I mentioned like maybe like sometimes the heat he starts noticing more supernatural stuff, but he's been kind of doing the same thing and it's been cold like the last 2 days. So I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But he hasn't been like running and scared. Like he does that in the summer where he gets like he'll bash into my room like almost like for safety when I think he sees something in the living room or something like that. He hasn't been doing that. He just will sit at the porch and just like stare. And it's like and he'll do it for like 30 minutes. I'll come back and in and out and he's just still in the same spot staring. And I'm like, "What are you staring at?" And then he'll slowly walk back inside and I'm like, all right, bro. Or he'll just sit at there's like steps walking up to the deck, and he'll just sit on top of the deck and just, sometimes he's just chilling and sunbathing and stuff like that. And sometimes he'll just sit there. And I'm like, let's go. Like it happened this morning. I'm like, let's go potty. It was like 7:45 in the morning. I was like, let's go. And he just sat there and I could not get him. Usually he's like the first one to run and he opens his little door to his yard area with his nose. And then we play a little bit. That's like kind of a routine. He just sat there. And so finally, after like 5 minutes, I was like, "Are you going to come in?" And he just went back in. He didn't pee or anything. And then, like an hour later, finally, after he sat there for a minute, he decided to go out in the yard. It was weird, and he was his old self again. I don't know. I'll keep you posted. Also, I want to discuss that apparently Savannah Guthrie, as most people know, she went back to the Today Show. Apparently, yesterday, like mid, or I'm sure it was like the other day, mid broadcast, she had to leave abruptly. Um, so I hope she's okay. I still am loosely following that case. But yeah, apparently she had to leave in the middle of the broadcast. So I hope she's okay. Maybe she got an update to something. I don't know, but hope she's doing okay. And still thinking about Nancy in that case as well. But I did have an Everest topic that I want to discuss, and I am going to do that. I'm going to do that in the next Haunted Journal. I am sorry for people that are here for supernatural stuff. I don't know. I think I need to change my YouTube algorithm for a little bit because that case, I don't know how people talk about true crime so much. It's tough, right? And I think it's an important topic. So I hats off and I watch it, right? And I've been into true crime for a long time. It's just, I think this case specifically with the Celeste thing, I don't know. It's just a lot. And so I'm going to go back to more of the supernatural route. What's coming to my channel is I'm going to do a video on the skull experiments, which I'm excited about. I've been researching it. It's a lot of information. So I think what I'm going to do with that video is I'm going to drop my investigation video on it and then discuss in the next Haunted Journal more stuff about it. Because I think it's interesting. I really want to start on these Haunted Journal series, start talking about more supernatural topics like the skull experiment, things like that we can get more into, my experiences and stuff like that. It's just a transition into that topic. True crime kind of has to take it over just because there's been a lot of major activity in that area lately. But I think I'm going to push myself to kind of get out of there for a little bit, unless like I said there's a trial update or something like that with David. Try and keep it back to more factual because as you can tell I just get very you know um attached to stuff like this, and I don't think my boyfriend agrees. It's not good to think. It's good to keep up with it. I think it's important, but I'm gonna try and get back more into the supernatural realm. All right. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. And as always, stay curious and stay tuned into the supernatural. Thanks for watching.